I think the implication is that guy was in real trouble if he had been nice. He might have just been knocked out, tied up or something.
Killed, and he was a jerk.
And he was a jerk. Hey, Internet! It's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about The Expanse. Season 5, episodes 5 and 6, Down and Out, and Tribes. We begin with Drummer and her crew. They're dealing with Marco's recent supervillain speech. That's where we left off with episode 4. I'm a supervillain. I did all the terrible things. They think, probably rightly so, that the Earthers are now going to basically be hunting Belters. And so they are, at risk.
Yes.
And at the same time, Marco has sent a message to the Drummer like, hey, I want to meet. And so she announces to the crew, we're going to go meet Marco. Even though previously she's like, we're going to go get him and like try to get a bounty on him. So there's a little turnabout there.
Yeah, definitely a major turnabout.
We end episode 6 with Amos and Peaches in the home of this survivalist that they just killed for his stuff. Peaches brings up the point that good people don't kill folks for their stuff. Huh. And Amos is like, he realizes that he didn't have a problem with it. And kind of was taking that in. And so he announces like, I need to get back to my crew. And I think part of that is because I'm losing myself.
I think becoming that kind of person that maybe he didn't like himself being.
Right, good point. It is him, but I'm losing the good part of me because earlier in the conversation,
certainly he's someone who I think he's expressed. One thing she says is that monsters aren't afraid.
I was about to bring that up. And she's like, I know I'm not a monster because I feel fear. She says, and you see on his face, he's like, okay, I guess that makes me a monster then.
Yeah, because, apparently he's said before how he stopped feeling fear at 5.
Right.
Probably the time that he was being beat around and used as a sexual plaything for others.
So what they've done is, obviously the show is taking the situation, asteroid hits, the laws have broken down, and now it's just survival of the fittest. In that world, which Amos is somewhat used to, he reverts to this monster personality, basically. Kill or be killed. And, hey, that guy's got stuff we need. Let's go trick him into getting his stuff.
And I think it's not that far from how he sort of is on the Rossi with his crew. Because I think initially he was sort of like very Naomi focused. But I think eventually the trust with the rest of the crew was established. And to the point where in this episode he talks about how Holden wouldn't like what he had done, basically. So Holden's opinion now is important to him.
Which is also, again, why the last line of this episode is, I need to get back to my crew.
So he wants to get back to the family that he's created.
Right.
So...
And then get back to the version of him that he likes.
He very has that. I think you can see, though, how he developed with the group that, okay, now it's this group. He's focused on that group and making sure that they're safe and they'll look out for him, help him be how he needs to be.
Right, and we see, obviously, Naomi having an issue with what was her family and what is her family. And so she's, in this episode, battling. She ends up saving the Rocinante at a big personal risk to herself. And, you can tell that that's her family, right? I mean, Marco and Philip, we'll talk about where people are in this episode, but there's a few people we kind of only touch on a little bit. This is mainly Amos and Drummer and Naomi, I would say, are your 3 that we talk maybe most about in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, so the quickest to wrap up probably is Avasarala.
Yeah. So she meets with the new head of the UN, who's like way down in succession. To this guy's credit, he realizes like, oh man, I am outmatched. And so wisely, he's like, hey, would you join my cabinet, please? Would you do this job for me? So
he promises to try to help her find her husband. We learn that her daughter and her grandchildren are safe. They're coming to Luna.
correct, but Aryan, the husband, is missing or has not responded yet.
Yeah.
I'll guess that he is alive.
You gonna mad him?
To contact her. I'm not gonna mad him. I feel like they would just say he's dead and then have her deal with the grief of it, as opposed to draw it out for.
They might be saving it for
episodes.
a particular moment.
Okay. He's dead.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe you're right. It could be that they just throw out this little bombshell.
Now we found
have
the
her
body at some
grieve.
point
Yeah.
when she needs to do something, or
I think it's going to be more of a happy reunion where it's like, hey, at the end of all this, I kind of realized again how much family means to me, and because they were on the outs, and that's why he was away from her.
Right.
And so I feel like this moment will bring them together, and
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking. I do have a person I'm madding, however,
Ooh.
Now I've already matted Admiral Delgado, so he's on my list. Here's another dude though from I think it's episode 6. So Naomi, as I say, saves the Rocinante, but the way she does it is she ends up taking a wrench to this guy Sin, the big builder guy. He's like her friend.
Yep.
And in the aftermath of that, Marco, obviously very mad, his plan didn't come to fruition.
Right.
So he's like, Spacer. Now, part of me thinks maybe he was saying that to Philip to test him, just to be like, oh, would you space your mom? Kind of knowing he wouldn't. But anyway, he's like, Spacer.
Yeah.
And Sin is like, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like he's very... And he earlier he's antagonistic to Marco as well, where he's like, you shouldn't have taunted her like that. I'm just like, that's a supervillain. You're publicly humiliating the supervillain. Your lifespan starts going down when you publicly humiliate the supervillain leader in front of everyone. So I'm just saying, if Sin pushes Marco one more time, I feel like that might be the last time he pushes Marco. Anyway, the interesting thing about that too was that they're going to blow up the Rocinante using Naomi's code. So it's like, that thing you developed?
Yes.
We're going to blow up the thing that means everything to you with it. Like, wow. So she saved that eventuality from happening, thank goodness.
Yes.
Bobby and Alex, they were still tracking that ship from Mars, and they find out that Mars is selling Martian ships to the Belters.
Yes.
But in so doing, they get found out, they get shot at, they get attempted to be boarded. Bobby puts on the cool mech suit. It's like, takes out a bunch of guys. Big action scene, looks cool. And Alex takes the opportunity to plant a bomb on this ship. And so they're basically like the action set pieces for these two things.
And that's what
chase the missile and then blow
you
up.
see a lot of fun stuff in terms of how space flight is there. Like when they want to go really fast, they're going to feel it.
Right. They're like, I got a thing, here's something I'll try. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to really maneuver in order to avoid like torpedoes and things like that. And so it comes off being more kind of like aircraft.
Yeah, it felt like dogfights or something. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Holden is decided that they're going to go. The reason he's powering up the Rocinante is that they want to go after the ship that's got the proto-molecule that escaped with it. So that's his agenda. Cool scene there with Sakai. So Sakai was the spy who killed Fred Johnson, assassin. She's in jail, prison.
She's very good in that seems like a very sweet person, except everything the content of everything she's saying.
Right.
So like, oh, too bad that Fred died. Oh, I liked him. You're the one who killed him.
You killed him, you jerk. No, but cool moment there where, so Holden and Bull are interrogating her basically, and she's like, I'm not telling you anything. Yes. And so they're like, well, we got to go. We're going after the proto-molecule, so we're going to power up the Rocinante.
Yes, and she's like,
so she knows, because she's the one that put the code into the Rocinante that is going to blow up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, see you when you get back. Hope you have a nice trip.
So there's that moment, though, when she says, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And so I think we get this emotional tug of war on her face there, where I think there's a moment where she's like, I'm gonna die because probably the base is gonna also take damage. I might be sacrificing myself if I let them leave this cell. And then she decides, okay, never mind, it's worth it. Like she had almost like a moment of weakness to say, wait. There's this big bomb on the ship, but she decides, you know what? Nope, I'm loyal to the cause. I'll see you when you get back. And so she's in some ways, I think, committing it herself to like, I'm probably going to die too in this moment. Perhaps anyway. I don't know. Maybe that cell is really well protected, and so much like Amos, she would survive that blast. But I don't know.
I think she, perhaps it's gambling that she'll survive that blast. But I think, I think she's committed to it. That's all.
Yeah.
Maybe she, maybe the thing about her saying that she likes people. I mean, she, is a person, and she does, kind of interact with people in a way that kind of seems sincere. But obviously she's committed to what she's doing, so she's willing to sacrifice people. So I think that was just sort of her like, like, hey, I'll throw you a bone. Forget it.
Not really. You want to turn around again? So another interesting scene is when Naomi decides she's going to assassinate Marco. And so she's got the knife, and she's walking up to him, and then it's Philip that stops her. And he says that the reason he stops her is because he saves her life. Like, if you'd have tried that, you'd be dead. And so that's an interesting, because he doesn't really tell on her in that moment. It's not like he's like, oh, she's got a knife. No. He just quietly grabs her and like pulls her away.
Right.
And so that shows maybe a little bit of an allegiance toward the mom. I don't know. It's still, he obviously, I would say he's more on the Marco camp than his mom's camp at this point. But it's not 100-0. It's hard to tell where on that scale.
It might only be 95.5.
95.5. All right. So that little 5%, like, okay, I'll look out for your interest in that moment. And also save my dad at the same time. So Drummer shows up at Marco's ship.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, we're getting ready, getting the Free Navy together. So they end up swapping crewmates in order to assure some kind of allegiance. And it's Philip is like, he's not the brightest or he's naive, but he gives away that Naomi's there.
Yes.
In front of Drummer. He's like, well, tell Naomi, hi from me or whatever when you see her. He's like, oh, well, I'll tell her right now. She's right here. Oh, shit. And then, Marco gives him this look and like,
yes.
So, yeah, Philip is, he's young there.
Yeah, he's not used to thinking strategically the way that Marco does.
Right.
And that's something that's really, both of them are sort of dancing around each other, both Marco and Drummer. Where they're trying to feel each other out. It's like it's clear that Marco knows that Drummer was close to
Ash.
Ash, right, who he killed.
Well, Drummer's, though, is the one that saved Marco's life, right? And when they were voting, like, who's going to, should we space him or not?
So that just makes it even more, more terrible, the fact that...
right, she feels the extra guilt of that,
Yeah. So, because Ash was like, what are you doing? Why did you kill this guy? So it makes it even worse.
But it also means that Marco, while he certainly doesn't trust her, hence the reason he's switching crew members, he has a little bit of like allegiance for her, like, well, you did save my life in that moment. I see that you aren't just guided by, say like a revenge motif. You actually have the Belter's best interest in mind.
And he knows that, the same thing they were talking about, which is like there will be alone if they don't join, against Earth,
Right. So that whole her crew has a big chat about, well, what should we do? And they're like, look, we don't have a choice. There's no choice.
Yes.
So, but that does also suggest to me that that is a plot arc that gets Drummer close to Marco, and then at some point, oh, are we all safe now? Good. Shing! Like she's she's where she wants to be. She wanted to get to Marco. She's there. I mean, now they're, whatever, they're in their ships. But she's
Right.
she's made contact, so now it wouldn't be so weird for her to be
Do you
in a
think that
room
happens
with
though by
Marco.
the end of the season?
By the end of the season, it might be a next season thing because
I would think.
But it's
It's
I
not like
think- I
other
think
shows
that's
where
the
they
resolution.
have people that are consequential, and they keep them around for longer.
Yeah, but I do feel like that's the way this arc ends. It seems like, to his eyes, hey, great, she's a useful member of my Navy. In her eyes, she's like, I'm just biding my time. And then the time will come and she's going to get revenge. But
But he did put somebody on who perhaps,
Right.
who's already proclaimed to him, like, you want to kill somebody? I'm
do
your
it.
girl.
Yeah. But which is also why I didn't think he technically wanted to space Naomi, because he could have just had somebody else do it. But
You
I don't
think
know,
he
maybe.
would have chosen? Maybe.
But maybe not. Maybe I think it was a dual thing. He was testing Philip, hoping that Philip would be like, okay. But he was leaving it to Philip to choose. So let's talk about then, the Amos story. So the asteroid hits, there's all kinds of chaos in the prison. He and Peaches try to escape. They join up with some guards. Everybody's kind of in it for themselves.
Yes.
Like, let's just
Yes.
get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
They can't. There's a service ladder. They don't have the strength to do all the security locks. So they release big modded prisoner guy who Amos keeps calling Tiny. And so Tiny is able to help them get out. And I actually liked the actor. I liked the actor's portrayal of Tiny.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He wasn't just like, I'll kill anyone. He's
No,
kind of
he
got. He's a
wasn't.
little wise-assy.
Yes.
I don't know. It was kind of an interesting thing. And so at some
Yeah,
point,
no, he knew I was well written in that he didn't need to be the prisoner all the time and opposed to them. He could.
Right.
He could. I mean, there are times when he mocked them, in a way that maybe some of them, might have mocked each other.
and at one point the guard falls to his death.
Yes.
And I think we can assume that
Yeah, I think
he got pushed. But in the moment, it's a plausible thing to be like, look, he just fell, whatever,
Yes.
Yeah. And so he's that guy. He's not just like, I'm giant brute, I'm Solomon Grundy, whatever.
Yes.
So it was interesting. So once he gets to the surface, everybody gets to the surface, he's like, all right, now I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Now that he sees that, there's society has crumbled.
Yep. So a lot of deaths are happening, whatever. And then he's attempting to kill Amos for calling him Tiny, among other things. And so
I think,
Amos does
obviously he's the biggest threat to him amongst that group.
Right. And so Amos does a suplex, does like a wrestling move, and throws him over his shoulder.
Well, the interesting thing is that he knocks the gun away of one of the guards, and then that guard was able to jump to the one that he killed and use his hand to shoot him
biometric
because he has a
triggers.
biometric trigger on his gun to shoot him, and so then that way that he was able to do the wrestling move on.
Yeah, little team. So we have the one prison guard that kind of, in the moment, realizes that duty is not that important in this moment. Like, she's like, I gotta find my kids. I got a family. Society's broken down. Amos is like, just go find your family, okay? Look, Can't we just part ways? And so instead of like, no, you're coming with, no, she's like, okay, fine. So that leaves Peaches and Amos on their own. Amos is like, hey, I know some people in Baltimore, and who would be good in a time like this,
Right.
which obviously means the gang. I think
It does.
Eric.
It does suggest that.
But now Eric, remember last time that he saw Eric,
Yes,
he was like,
he did
next
say
time I
that.
see you, I'll kill you. I feel like unless an asteroid hits and the whole society's wiped out, maybe then that might be an exception to the I'll kill you when I next see you rule. But that's where they're headed. So they're headed to Baltimore on foot. They decide to go through this nature preserve that actually Peach's dad was like running the charity for or whatever, to stay off the beaten path.
Right.
Along the way, she's sick because the suppressing agents are wearing off. But
Yes.
anyway, her mods are coming back. they find this guy kind of camping in the woods, and there's a dead guy first. They're like, oh, this guy was interesting. And then a little short while later, there's a guy at a campfire, and he seems nice enough, and Peaches is like, oh, this guy. And Amos is like, especially when he offers him a drink. I think in Amos's mind, he's like, this guy's going to try to like poison us.
Roofie us, yeah.
So he's like, yeah, we're out of here. And I like the fact that they didn't tell us whether that guy was good or bad.
Right, that's true, yeah.
I like that because Amos is like waiting, like we're just going to see if he shows up.
Yep.
And so, there's this, you could tell, so Peaches is just like, hey, I'm just glad to be out. She mistakes the sun for the moon or whatever, but she's like, oh, hey, look, the outdoors. And Amos is like all on high alert. But from the guy at the campfire, they learn about the survivalist. Hey, avoid that guy. He'll shoot at you. And in Amos's mind, it's like, wait, this guy's going to have supplies.
Yeah.
And so instead of avoid the guy, we're like, if we can beat him. And so Amos's ploy is to be like, hey, check it out. I'm just a guy. I got a water recycler, and I'll trade it. And has to take his clothes off to prove he doesn't have a gun.
Yes.
He does not have a water recycler. And so the guy's just about to shoot him. He's like, well, you told me there's a water recycler down there. I'll find it. And then he's going to kill him. But the mods have gotten back in time. And Peaches, I don't know, just in like an animal state almost. It's like, dispatches this guy.
Yeah.
And that leads to this conversation where she's like, oh, did we do bad stuff here? Are we good people? What did we do here? We went out of our way to kill this guy for his stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, what? Oh, yeah, because she says, like, I forgot how she puts it, but like, don't you have a regret or something? And he's like, well, it was worth the risk. Like, and he thought she was saying, was it really?
Right.
I mean, we could have been killed. What she's actually saying is, we just killed a guy for his stuff. Is that, that. Oh, that,
right.
No.
Well, it certainly, he doesn't offer this up as an argument, but someone who's going to kill you for your stuff, you kill them. It doesn't, it's
except the fact that this guy was on his compound. He was not going to. They could easily have avoided him.
Right. Well, they could have just said, "No, I don't want your water reclamator. Get out of here."
And you're right. She says, like, "Well, this guy was a terrible guy, but what if he hadn't been?" Is what she points out.
It was interesting how. For a time, one of the things, in fact, Amos might have behaved entirely differently if he didn't think there was a sniper trained on him, and there wasn't.
There wasn't, right. Also, he did have, there was a desperation to it because he realized Peaches needed to get out of the elements. I think he was like, I think we need better gear, we need better supplies than we have, or she might die. So there was a bit of desperation. But it is true. Let's say the guy was
absolve you. We absolve you, Amos.
Let's say the guy was a neutral good survivalist. And Amos has just offered a water recycler that he doesn't have. And the guy's like, oh, great. No, you know what? Fair trade. Awesome. What do you need? Like, at what point does it come out? So where's the water recycler? Well, what? I'm calling the cops. I don't, whatever. So, yeah, I think the implication is that guy was in real trouble if he had been nice. And obviously was, killed because he was a jerk. But
yes.
He might have just been knocked out, tied up or something.
Killed, and he was a jerk.
And he was a jerk.
One thing I wanted to talk about sort of is the contrast with how this story has been paced with something we've been, right along with Star Trek Discovery. It's nice. One of the things is that certainly the whole show is very much, with different societies and different characters. So when you're going from different places and things like that, there are interesting parts where you take your time. Like all this time that he's been away from the group is something they'd never do in a show like Star Trek. And it allows you to really meet these other characters and have them grow. So, and of course, the way, these characters too also have questionable morals or, it's nice. It's refreshing.
Right,
Nice
right.
the way
That's a
the
good
show
point.
is.
You do have this sense. Like I was a little worried because the crew is so spread out that it may suffer as a result. But the stories are very compelling, and
Yeah.
they're well told, and we are getting these character studies, and
Yeah.
we're seeing them all realize how much they need that group, and so I think that is it's effective, certainly in that way. And yeah, I like them taking that time. So Amos has a motive to try to get back to the crew. Naomi saved the crew, so she's still trying to save her son Philip as best she can. Holden is after the proto-molecule. Bobby and Alex are still unraveling information to try to lead to Marco, I think, at this point.
Yes.
So we'll be back with 7 and 8. We'll basically be caught up, I assume, at that point. So that's cool. Thank you, as always, Paul. We're also going to be talking about WandaVision, which drops very soon.
That's right.
As always, awesome. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.